Life on Earth is a tapestry of incredible diversity. From the towering redwoods to the tiniest insects, our planet teems with an astounding array of life forms. But this abundance of life didn't appear overnight. It is the product of millions of years of gradual change. A process we call evolution is not a static event, but an ongoing saga. Species are constantly changing, adapting to their surroundings and giving rise to new forms of life. This dynamic process is driven by a powerful force. Imagine a population of beetles living in a dense, lush forest. These beetles come in a variety of colors, each with its own unique characteristics and advantages. Some beetles are green, while others are brown. The green beetles have a vibrant hue that matches the leaves they rest on, while the brown beetles have a more earthy tone that contrasts with the greenery. The green beetles blend in well with the leaves, making them less visible to predators. Their coloration acts as a natural camouflage, allowing them to hide from birds and other predators that might be looking for a meal. The brown beetles, however, stand out and are easily spotted. Their contrasting color makes them more vulnerable to being seen and eaten by predators, reducing their chances of survival. Over time, the green beetles, because they are better at surviving and reproducing, will become more common in the population. As the green beetles continue to evade predators and reproduce, their numbers increase, while the brown beetles become less frequent. This is natural selection at work. The environment selects for traits that give organisms an advantage. In this case, the green coloration of the beetles provides a survival benefit, allowing them to thrive and pass on their genes to the next generation, leading to the gradual change of the species over time. As generations pass, the population of beetles will shift, with more green beetles and fewer brown ones. This process of natural selection drives the evolution of species, shaping them to better fit their environments and increasing their chances of survival in the ever-changing world around them. Natural selection relies on four key components: variation, inheritance, differential survival and reproduction, and the accumulation of favorable traits. These principles are the foundation of evolutionary biology and help us understand how species adapt and evolve over time. Individuals within a population differ from each other in their traits. This variation is crucial because it provides the raw material for natural selection to act upon. Without variation, all individuals would be identical, and there would be no differential survival or reproduction. For example, in a population of beetles, some may be green while others are brown. These color differences can affect their survival, especially in environments where one color provides better camouflage from predators. These traits are passed down from parents to offspring through the process of inheritance. Genetic information is transferred from one generation to the next, ensuring that offspring resemble their parents in many ways. For instance, green beetles are more likely to have green offspring. This inheritance of traits ensures that beneficial characteristics can be passed down through generations. Individuals with advantageous traits, like the green beetles that blend into their leafy environment, are more likely to survive and reproduce. This is because they are less likely to be seen and eaten by predators. As a result, they pass on their beneficial traits to their offspring, increasing the frequency of these traits in the population. Over many generations, the advantageous traits become more common in the population. This process leads to adaptation, where the population becomes better suited to its environment. Ultimately, these changes can result in the evolution of new species, showcasing the incredible power of natural selection in shaping the diversity of life on Earth. One of the most famous examples of natural selection comes from Charles Darwin's observations of finches in the Galapagos Islands. Darwin's journey to these islands in the 1830s provided him with a unique opportunity to study a variety of species in their natural habitats. The Galapagos Islands, with their diverse environments, became a living laboratory for Darwin, where he could observe the subtle differences and adaptations among species. Darwin noticed that finches on different islands had distinct beak shapes, perfectly adapted to their specific food sources. These variations in beak shapes were not random, but were closely linked to the types of food available on each island. For instance, some islands had an abundance of seeds, while others were rich in insects or fruits. This led to a fascinating diversity among the finch populations. Finches with strong, thick beaks lived on islands with large, hard seeds. These beaks were ideal for cracking open tough seeds, allowing the birds to access a vital food source that other finches with different beak shapes could not. This adaptation gave them a significant survival advantage in their specific environment. In contrast, finches with slender beaks inhabited islands where insects were abundant. These slender beaks were perfect for catching and consuming insects, enabling these finches to thrive in their insect-rich habitats. The specialization of beak shapes among the finches is a clear example of how natural selection operates. Darwin proposed that these differences arose through natural selection. He theorized that finches with beak shapes better suited to their environment were more likely to survive and reproduce. Over time, these advantageous traits became more common within the population, leading to the evolution of distinct species adapted to their specific ecological niches. Birds with beaks better suited to the available food on their island were more likely to survive and reproduce, passing their advantageous beak shape to their offspring. This process of natural selection ensured that each generation of finches was better adapted to their environment, illustrating the power of evolutionary change. Darwin's observations of these finches provided crucial evidence for his groundbreaking theory of evolution by natural selection, fundamentally changing our understanding of the natural world. But where does this variation come from? The answer lies in random changes in an organism's DNA. These mutations can introduce new traits, like different beak shapes in finches or different colors in beetles. Most mutations are neutral or even harmful. However, occasionally a mutation arises that provides a survival advantage. These beneficial mutations are the raw material upon which natural selection acts, driving the process of evolution. Natural selection is not just a process of the past. It continues to shape life on Earth today. One striking example is the evolution of antibiotic resistance in bacteria. When we use antibiotics, we kill off susceptible bacteria. However, bacteria with mutations that confer resistance to the antibiotic survive and reproduce. These resistant bacteria multiply, rendering the antibiotic ineffective. This is a stark reminder that evolution is an ongoing process, and we must adapt our strategies to combat it. Over very long periods, natural selection can lead to the formation of entirely new species. This process, called speciation, occurs when populations of a species become isolated from each other, perhaps by a geographical barrier, like a mountain range or a body of water. In isolation, each population will face different environmental pressures and undergo different evolutionary trajectories. Eventually, the two populations may become so genetically distinct that they can no longer interbreed, marking the birth of new species. Evolution by natural selection is a powerful explanation for the diversity of life on Earth, but it is often misunderstood. One common misconception is that evolution is a linear progression, with organisms becoming more evolved over time. Evolution is not a ladder, but a branching tree with different lineages evolving along different paths. Another misconception is that evolution happens randomly. While mutations are random, natural selection is not. It is a non-random process that favors the survival and reproduction of organisms best suited to their environment. Natural selection is a cornerstone of modern biology. It provides a unifying framework for understanding the diversity of life on Earth. and the intricate adaptations that enable organisms to thrive in their environments. By studying natural selection, we gain a deeper appreciation for the interconnectedness of life and the remarkable power of this simple yet elegant process to shape the living world.